Communication Masterclass. Without wasting much of our time, I'd like us to go straight into the business of today. So, what do we expect to learn in this class? So, we'll be discussing what is communication. We'll be talking of the subtle art of effective communication. We'll be talking on understanding the psychology of communication. And we'll be also touching on the tools for effective communication. We'll also be talking on audience analysis, how to analyze your audience effectively. And then we'll be talking a bit on understanding the sales communication funnel. Here we're going to be looking at how we can profit using the sales communication funnel. And this session is going to be very interactive. It's going to be extremely interactive. So I'll not be doing the talking alone. Once in a while, I'm going to involve you in doing the talking. So I'm not the only trainer here. Every one of us here is a trainer. So are you ready? Yes. Oh, come on. It's a communication class. So I'm not going to do it alone. Are you ready? Yes. Are we ready? Yes. Awesome. So let's go straight into the business of today. And the first thing we have here, let's listen to this quote from J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling says that words are most inexhaustible source of magic. So it means that your words have power. And the beautiful thing is that you can never run out of words. And do you know that even people who are dumb also communicate? Do you know that? People who are dumb also communicate. So at every point in life, we don't run out of words. At every point in life, we are always communicating. So it takes us to the next one. What is communication? This is where I'm going to pause and let you do the teaching for today. So I want somebody to tell me what communication is. Let me start this way. How many of us have heard of the word communication? So who can tell us what is communication? In your own best understanding, tell us what communication is. To the best of your knowledge, tell us what communication is. Okay.
I think it's a dialogue between two or more people.
It's a dialogue between two or more people. Any other one? So I'm going to put that answer on asterisk. It's a dialogue between two or more people. I'm going to put it on asterisk. Are we writing? Are we writing? So Esther says communication is a dialogue between two or more people. How many of us here agree with that definition? Oh, okay. Everybody agrees. I think I'm the only one who is putting an asterisk. Perry, do you agree? Partially, I love that. Somebody's on my side. Somebody's on my side. Dorcas. Oh, sure. Feel free. Feel free.
It has not between two or more people to exchange ideas.
Okay. Okay, a dialogue between two or more people to exchange ideas, to exchange information. Any other person? Celine, you want to go? They said it was. Okay, Boogie.
I think it's when I project, I sort of project out.
Okay, communication is more of what you project out.
Yes, it might not be like a conversation one-on-one, what you put out there, so it might not be like literally having words repeat
Okay.
and project things through your
Sign out there.
Yeah. Awesome. So since sorry. Maria. Okay. So since Maria is the independent newspaper, I'd like her to tell us what she thinks communication is.
Well, communication for me is an action, not necessarily speaking or doing something, rather an action when you want to put something out there and when you want to project something for other people to understand you and to understand what you're saying. So, for example, for the independent, we communicate news, what's happening in the world. We do that by speaking, we do that by writing. People that have disabilities do it by sign language So that's why for me communication is an action to
Okay.
project.
Actually projecting. Awesome. Awesome. Any other definition? Please, we would like to take as many definitions as possible here. Any other definition? David, you want to go?
I think communication
Kindly
is,
be audible, please.
communication for me is passing out something that you have in your mind to other people in a way they can understand it.
In a way they can understand. Awesome. Passing out what you have in mind to other people in a way they can understand. I think I'd love us to underline that word, understand. Understand. Good. So, here, we define communication as the exchange of information between two or more people so that they share the same information. The most important factor in communication is that the two people share the same information. So, when people, sorry, Esther, what's the word you use again? When people are in a dialogue, the fact that they are in a dialogue doesn't mean they are communicating. If the other person is not understanding what you are saying, then communication has not taken place. You've only said something. That's why, how many of us have experienced this? I did it when I was a little child, a lot of times. So your mom is going to be in the sitting room and then she calls you out and says something. You didn't hear what she said very well, you just assume. It's like, I feel she says, let me go and cook something. You get it? But to her, she has passed across an information. But the fact that she passed across information, does it mean that she has communicated something? Because what? Because you didn't understand what she said. And so it's also, I remember when I got into school and I got into the science department. Science was a very interesting department for me. And most times you hear phosphorus, you hear, what are those, sorry, I'm forgetting my sciences. What are those things? What are those terminologies they use? Tetraoxosulfate 6 and all those. You see, when you mention all those words to somebody like, what's her name? Say again? To somebody like Alfred. Alfred is going to look at you like, you just tell Alfred, oh, go and get me tetraoxosulfate 6. He's going to be like, what the hell is she saying? You understand? But to you, you've passed an information across. But the truth is that at that point, since he's not sharing the same understanding with you, you have not communicated anything. And in neurolinguistic programming, we say that communication is all about response. It doesn't matter what you say, but communication is all about the response you get. Let us bear in mind that the major reason we are doing this training today is so that our communication can affect our sales process. So that through enhancing our communication, we make more income, we make more sales. That is the basic reason why we are having this training today. So most of the things we'll be saying today is going to be tailored towards making sales and making profit. Are we together?
Yes,
Awesome. Then we move over to the next one. What do we think is the purpose of communication? Why do we communicate? Let's discuss. Why do we communicate? Everybody is going to say something. Why do we communicate? Yeah.
To exchange information.
Okay. To exchange information. Okay. Yeah. Everybody is definitely going to say something. What is the purpose behind communication? Why are we so worried about communication? Yes.
To make an agreement.
To make an agreement. Awesome. Share understanding. Awesome. To share ideas. Okay.
Give a response.
To give a response to somebody. I think we are going very tactical and very technical with the whole thing. Okay.
I think the essence of communication, right from like the beginning, I think it boils down to our need to connect to people. So it's like it's human nature to want to connect others. So how do you connect?
Awesome. So one of the purpose of communication is The need to connect. I love that. I love that. I love that. So I remember one time, I used to tell a lot of people, back then when I was in senior high school, in SS2, I had a crush on this girl. Very beautiful girl. Like, very beautiful girl. You know, I was in SS2, young chap, very shy. Very, very, very shy. I was very, very shy. I'm still very shy till today. And this girl, I had a crush on her. Serious crush. Ghanaians would say crush. You know? And the problem was how to communicate to this girl that, hey, I like you. So I was doing everything possible. When it's time for classes, I would leave my class and just walk, you know, through the window, just have a look at her, and I smile. I thought she was understanding. I thought she was getting the message I was passing across. But I thought communication, you know, I thought I was communicating my feelings. I thought I was communicating, you know, what was happening in my heart to her. But unfortunately, she never understood. And one time I summoned courage. One night, I took my phone and I got her number from my elder sister's phone. And I called her and I said, hey girl, I've been admiring you all this while. I like you. You know, I love us to hang out. I love us to go out together. And she said something. She said, Ike, I've been waiting for you all this while. You never said anything. I've moved on. You know, it was very painful. It was very, very painful. And I think that was one of the times that I said, no. This communication process, I must learn how to communicate my emotions. It's not only, you know, I must learn how to communicate the way I feel. I must learn how to communicate my ideas. Do you understand? As salesmen, I see business as a relationship. Every business you establish today is a relationship. Do you understand? Because at every point, you're trying to establish connection. So you have a client, after prospecting, you know, after doing everything, before you make profit off that client, you must first of all establish a connection. Yes or no? Make a sale. Somebody's going to call you. And how you respond to the person is going to determine if you make a sale or not. As a graphic designer, people are going to bring jobs to you. Or people are going to meet you, and I'm sure you publicize yourself on social media, right? People are going to hit you up and say, yo, what's up? I saw some of your illustrations. How you respond to them is going to determine if they are going to continue business with you. Right or wrong? As an entrepreneur, if you cannot share your ideas, if you cannot communicate your ideas, you're going to have beautiful ideas, but nobody is going to invest in your ideas. That's why a lot of young Africans today are sitting on gold mines in sense of their ideas. But because they do not know how to communicate those ideas to the people who can really invest in them, all they do is have a beautiful idea. But you know something? A beautiful idea does not put food on your table. A beautiful idea alone cannot give you money. And I'm talking to the young guys. And if you don't have money, you cannot marry. You understand? Somebody's looking at me like, if you don't have money, Francis, am I lying? If you don't have money, you can't marry. David, am I saying the truth? Or Dorcas, am I lying? Maria, if you don't have money, you can't marry. So that's, by the way, if you're unable to communicate your ideas to the point that people would understand you, develop interest in you, and invest in you, you might not be able to profit. So another person, tell us one of the purposes of communication.
I don't think to receive information.
To receive information. To receive. Okay, so throw more light on that, to receive information.
Well, most of the times, like in sales, when I come to you, I'm telling you what I can offer on the table.
Okay.
The other party needs to receive that information first.
Can we hear Perry?
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah. The other party needs to receive the information, process it, and understand it before coming into agreement with you.
The other person needs to receive the information, process it. Exactly. Please a round of applause for Perry. Oh, that's I'm sorry to say, but that's a very, very boring round of applause. I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell you something. This is how we are going to clap today. One time when I visited Tanzania for a training, very beautiful place, and something really, 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 so I really, really took interest in something. something struck me. I love the way the people clap there. They have I think that's the most beautiful form of clapping I've ever seen. I'm going to teach you free of charge, for real. You're not going to pay for it. For real, I promise you. You're not going to pay for it. I'm going to teach you. Very, very simple. And this is what they do. So this is how they clap. They clap 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Can you say 1, 2, 3? And then. Very beautiful way. So we are going to rehearse it here. Are you ready? Are you ready? So let's go. Everybody clap for, was it Perry or David? Clap for Perry. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Then go. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Awesome. That's for you, Perry. That's for you, Perry. Awesome. Please, another person. Let's. This is very, very interactive. We are here to share knowledge. We are here to share the same understanding. Please let us also share. Do you have something else to add, David? Do you have something else to add?
Well, yeah. I think since the whole term of communication hasn't been narrowed down yet, we can also look into an objective whereby you want to make connections, you want to network with somebody. But let's say it's an event and it's time for there's a coffee session. I need to approach you, I need to communicate, I need to talk to you, I need to know what you do so that we can network.
Okay, awesome, awesome. We're gradually going into that. And then we move over to the next one. Now, we've gone to the subtle act of effective communication. People say, why do you like using the word subtle for communication? And I tell people, communication is very subtle in the sense that it's very dicey. If you don't get it right, you lose it. You know, a whole lot of time we hear people saying, that was not what I intended to say. Oh, you're getting me wrong. And you know, this whole thing, it has broken relationships. It has made people get fired from their job. Do we understand? That's why I say communication is very, very, very subtle. If you do not understand it, then you miss the point. So I'm saying that in life, there are 4 basic ways we have contact with the world as humans. And at every point, we are constantly judged and evaluated by these 4 ways. At every point in life. And now, you know, the beautiful thing about it is, you are being judged and evaluated whether you are aware of it or not. And what's the first way? We are judged and evaluated first. These are not in any order, it's just like that, so you don't think this first. No. Some people judge you, some people evaluate you by what you do. There are people who don't even know anything about you. There are people who have never seen you before. There are people who have never even heard of your name. But the very moment they hear that this person is the CEO of Boss Ghana, they already have a picture in mind about you. So at every point in life, just like you say you're a student, immediately you say you're a student, somebody already has a picture in mind about you. When you say you're a fashion designer, somebody already has a picture in mind about you. You don't even need to open your mouth and speak to the person. The person has already evaluated and the person has already judged you. So when you say, oh, I'm a fashion designer, first thing people look out for, as Africans, first thing look at your say you're a fashion designer. Why are you wearing this? Imagine I say I'm a fashion designer or I'm a stylist and I'm wearing yellow and red. You get it? I'm wearing a yellow shirt, a red trousers, probably a green shoe. And I tell you I'm a fashion designer. Maybe that's my thing, but would you want to do business with this fashion designer?
Yeah, but the idea is project what you want to communicate. So whoever is, you attract those kind of people.
You attract those kind of people. So, as an individual, if I had appeared to you like that, what would happen? You wouldn't have said anything to me, right? You just look a bit passing, feeling all cool, you know, all decked up in my yellow shirt and red trousers and green shoe. You're not going to say anything to me. You wouldn't even stop me to ask me, oh, sir, is this your style? But you will quickly drop a conclusion in your mind about, it's like, is this guy okay? Or you say something like, this guy is so colorful.
No, I wouldn't say.
You wouldn't say that. What would you say?
My first, I think one of the things I would ask myself is, dressed and look in the mirror before coming out.
But you get it. So we are people always evaluate us and judge us based on what we do. So let's try this. Let's try this here. So Perry, Maria said she works with Independent Ghana. Were you here when she introduced herself? So what was the thing? What came into your mind?
Well, I saw a reporter, a journalist, a writer, a blogger. That's what I saw.
So did you speak to her?
No.
So when he said he's an illustrator, okay, no, not you.
Yes.
Because they're in the same field, so they know what to expect. So when he said he's an illustrator, what came into your mind? Like, what's he talking about? Photo shoots. You get it? So that was what came into your mind. Photo shoot. You're a graphic illustrator. But what came into our mind is photo shoots.
You also mentioned photography.
Oh, okay. You said you take pictures, right? So that's why photo shoot. I'm looking for somebody who, when he said he's a graphic illustrator, Maria, what came into your mind?
Actually, when seeing him, I thought he was, before taking the photograph, I thought he was like something like stylist or fashion designer because of the hat and
Can you see?
glasses
You see?
and everything, the swag. But then you said, you should like, oh, okay, like.
You see. But you guys have not said anything to yourself. But she already has an idea. She has already evaluated you. In fact, if she lives here without saying anything to you, or if you didn't introduce yourself as a photographer, she's just going to conclude that, oh, that guy must be a stylist. And when she goes out, she'll say, oh, I went for one training and there was a stylist there. Oh, you need to see his glasses. You get it? She'll be so sure of what she's saying. And you'll be wondering, but I didn't say anything to her. But the truth is that we are constantly judged and evaluated by what we do. So when someone says, I'm a nurse, immediately your mind goes to somebody who helps to deliver babies. You get it? Somebody who helps pregnant women and all those things. That's one aspect. And then the next thing is how we look. I think Maria already gave us an example of, people judging you based on how you look. That was a perfect example. You need look at his scarf. Come on, the guys. Look at his scarf. Look at his glasses. Look at his what's it called? His hair. Look at his hair. So he can easily pass for a stylist, just like she said. You understand? So we are constantly evaluated on how we look. I know if a bride walks in here, you don't need to ask any questions. You just know that this person is going to get married. Do you understand? The same thing with if an engineer walks in here wearing his boots and everything, you can easily tell that this is what this person does. If what's that other? Give me another profession that you can easily look at and say this is what this person does. A mechanic, but be very careful. Sometimes, I'm very sorry to say this, especially some of the street mechanics, sometimes you can't differentiate them from, I won't say anything. You get it? But how we look, people are constantly evaluating us and judging us based on how we look. I'm sure if I was wearing a singlet and probably a short, Maria wouldn't have walked up to me and said, you are your organizer.
Yes.
You get it? But I was wondering how she was so confident to say, you're the organizer. I didn't say anything to you. You get it? But I think she saw, oh, this guy is wearing jacket and he's wearing that, so he must be the organizer of this event. You get it? So people are constantly judging us on how we look. And you know the funny bit of how we look? People see you before they hear you. Do you understand? People see you before they hear you. A lot of times people feel, oh, we are nice. I have a good heart. Oh, I'm a good person. But you appear in a very shabby way. people will not do business with you. Look at, there's a lady on your street, there's a man on your street you don't buy from. Not because he or she is not a nice person, but sometimes you don't like how he looks. Every time you go to her shop, she's looking tattered. And you want to buy a loaf of bread and she's all looking tattered and everything. You're like, no, this woman is looking tattered like this. But then maybe she does some funny things, to her stuff. You get it? Every time it is playing out. It is playing out. That is why some organizations have uniform. When you see people who work with UBA, what is something striking about folks who work with UBA?
Well, if they are in suits, sometimes they have either blue or an embroidered logo.
Good.
If they're in Lacoste and polo,
Okay.
sometimes you see the name of the company.
You see the name of the company there. And they are I know, is it Zenith Bank or either Zenith or UBA? They are always on the red tie. They are always on the red tie. Like when you go there, you see them on the red tie. So you can easily tell that this guy has something to do with UBA. Why? Because they know that people judge and evaluate them based on how they look. And now, the next one is what we say. What we say. And when we talk about what we say, we are talking about content. People are constantly judging you based on what you say. Sometimes we say it's a free world. After all, I don't owe anybody anything, but you lie. It's not a free world. You pay for every comment that comes out of your mouth. So, sometimes you're having a discussion with your friend. Sometimes you're having a discussion with your friend. Just a tete-a-tete with your friend. And there's another group of people here having another conversation. And then this person says something. All of a sudden, your mind goes to what the person says. And then you look at this person and you shake your head. You say, this person must be a bad boy. You don't know the person. But because of what you heard from the person, you already judged the person. Yeah, how many of us are Christians here? How many Christians are here? I know the Bible says don't judge. You get it, right? The Bible says don't judge people. But, I'm sorry, in the real world, we are always judged. We are always evaluated by what we say. That's why somebody can just walk in here, stand here and say, I'm the son of the president of Ghana. Immediately you want to listen to him. Not because of anything, but because of what he said. Because when he walked in, you didn't even know him. But immediately he made that statement, your attention was drawn to him. As a salesman, as somebody who has goods to sell, what is it you are saying to the people? What is it you're saying to your customers? Do you even understand what your customers want to hear? Do you get it? Your customers definitely want to hear something. If you're not saying the right thing to your customers, forget it. They won't even. It's just like a customer has come to make, to do a dress with you. And then the person tests the dress. You don't see anything. You don't make any comments. You just tell the person, oh, madam, please give me my balance. And the person picks it up. Come on. When the person, do you think the person will want to have a repeat business with you? No. Do you know there are certain times you go to the boutique to buy clothes? You know deep down in your heart, this cloth does not fit me. But the guy who is selling to you say, wow, this cloth looks good on you. You get it? Now in your mind, you're like, this cloth doesn't fit me. But because of what he's saying, sometimes we even end up buying those clothes. It's when we get home that we now say, but this thing doesn't really fit you, right or wrong. You are constantly judged and evaluated by what you say. And then the next thing is how we say what we say. Is it luckily or unluckily for us? In 2019, in our generation today, in the social media generation today, we are judged by how we say what we say. Come on, if I was your boyfriend and I come to you, I say, hey, I love you. Does it make sense? Now, okay, let's be practical about this. So I come to you and I say, hey, sir, I love you so much. How does that sound? But if I say,
pay attention to
you pay attention to me. But when I say, hey, you, I love you, it's just like, yeah, what's up with you now? You get it? How we say what we say. And now, we're going to do a little assignment here. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I'm going to ask this question. Very, very sincere to yourself. Between content and style, which is more important? Between content and style, which is more important? And I want you to defend your answer. So if you say content, you tell me, oh, content is more important, and this is the reason why I say content is more important. If you say style is more important, you tell me why you said style is more important. Are we ready? Are we ready? Awesome. Let's go. Content and style, which is more important? Content and style, which is more important? All right, Buki.
I'll go with style.
Style. Okay, why?
Because I'm sorry to say, but I've heard some people say rubbish, but in a very pleasant way. So you actually listen to them, even if they're not saying anything that makes sense. So like you said, the way you said you love her, the first way you said, even if you could be lying or not true, I should pay attention to it. It's for nice and romantic. Meanwhile, when you were shouting, that could actually be true, but your approach to it was wrong.
Awesome. Please, a Tanzanian round of applause for her. Tanzania. Oh no! I want us to see. There's a latecomer here. I want him to feel that he actually came in. So I want you to give her the Tanzanian round of applause. You see how the latecomer is looking. All right. So she says style is more important than content. So tell us what you think, Dorcas. Style and content, which is more important? Content. Okay, tell us why.
As she said she was listening to someone say English before, or in a very committed manner. Like, if you say rubbish to me, no matter how you say it, I'll take it. Like how I like it. So,
You'd rather go for content. How many of us have experienced salespeople before? How many of you have experienced a salesman come to pitch to you before? Awesome. I know it's going great. So content, Perry, content and style, which is more important to you?
Both of them are important, but what I look out for is your content.
Okay.
Because if we are going to just style, I've seen people appear very well, yet they have very bad content. They can't even, like sales people like this, insurance. I've had people like that come to me, wanting me to come on board with some of their services. How they go about building, at times, I think I know more than you do, even you get it. So I think your content is more important than your style. Like she said, I've also seen people not look so ready for the job, but give it to them and they deliver perfectly. On the other hand, there are people who look perfect. It's time for them to deliver. It's a fiasco. So I think content is way better.
Wow. I think content is leading. So we have two people for content. Another person. We all are going to talk. We are all going to contribute something. Then at the end, we'll judge which one is more important to this class. Good. So who's going next? Come on, David, listen up. Come on, listen up. So content and style, which is more important? Okay, sorry, I think he has to tell us his name and what he does, right? Okay, awesome. So,
okay, so my name is Not Paul.
okay.
Mara is my boss.
Oh, okay.
I said,
You sell. Salesman. Salesman.
I work with an establishment called Investor Crystal Print, so I also call myself a printer.
Okay.
So obviously when you have your print jobs, I want to look at it.
Yeah.
Whilst we're on this.
So we only asked him to tell us his name and what he does, but he's already pitching. Can you see? He's already pitching. No wonder he said he's a salesman. A salesman is always looking out for opportunity to tell you to buy. Awesome. So tell us content and style, which is more important?
Well, because we are dealing with comps, I will go with style to grasp your attention and to hold on to that. I mean, typically, probably I may go for a non-conventional one. I mean, let's look at Donald Trump. I know it will obviously split opinions.
Yeah.
But I mean, when the guy says that, look, I'm going to drain the swamp and all that, and he doesn't tell you what he's going to do. And the rhetoric is basically what garnered a lot of support and all that. And if you look at a lot of things that are going around, his key base is still stuck with him. Even though people sometimes are not too sure what he's really about. And it is his style that usually grasps all that attention to. So I would think that, yeah, you may have great stuff to say, but if you are a put-off, you will not really have the opportunity to share that. So I'll go with style.
Awesome. He'll go with style. So we have 2 for content and 2 for style, right? Awesome.
I'll
So
stick to style
you
too,
stick to
because,
style.
most of the time, I'm always first appearance. I'm looking at appearance most of the time. So where you're coming in, your style is totally off for me. Like I wouldn't give you the ears to even listen to. So style really.
I'm coming. Okay, hold on. Are we setting a standard for the style?
No, you see, style. Okay, let's set the standard for the style. That is style of delivery. Yeah.
If it's the style of delivery or the appearance, because I'm getting conflicting for this one. Yeah. At times it looks like your style of delivery. At times.
Psychology of communication. Now, we really want to understand what goes on in the mind of people. We want to understand how do we get across to people easily and, get them convinced about what we want to say. Why did you say yes to that guy who said he loves you? Why did you agree to seal that business deal? Why did you agree to pay 100 cedis for a bag that literally costs 50 cedis? Haven't you wondered how you can buy this marker for 10 Ghana cedis and go somewhere else and still buy it for 50 Ghana cedis? Have you ever wondered why? There is a psychology behind how we communicate. At every point in a conversation, whether you are aware or not, there are 4 things that every communication, is aimed at. Because every communication without a purpose is simply a gist. Every communication without a purpose is simply a gist. But if you must engage in a conversation that's going to yield to sales, then you must be extremely intentional about that communication. So when you engage with people, there are 4 major things that we are trying to do. And the first thing is to inform. When your customer comes into your shop or your office, what is the first thing that you want to do when you see this person? Do you want to inform this person about your product? When you say informing, what you're talking about is letting the person aware of this whole thing. So all organizations do that. So we start to sell iPhone. The first thing is that we try to inform the public on the goods that we have available. Do you understand? So you are a digital consultant. After you set up your whole thing, the next thing that is very important to you is that you need to inform a whole lot of people that this is what you are all about. You're into stationaries, you need to inform people, yes, that I sell stationery, so. And the way you're going to talk to people when you want to inform them is not the same way you talk to people when you have other goals in mind. Yes or no? And then it takes us to the next one. To impress and to convince. Why do people engage in conversations? To impress and to convince. Every organization in Ghana wants to impress you. They want to convince you that they are offering the best. Every insurance company wants to tell you they are offering the best. Every TV station tells you we are simply the best. Every pure water company tells you we are the best. Every religion tells you we are the best. So at every point in time, they are trying to impress you and to convince you. That girl that you are always in her presence, what are you trying to do? You are trying to impress her and convince you that you are better than all those guys on campus. Well, you're a liar. You know it. You know deep down in you, you know you are not a good boy. But because of her, you started going to church. All these things you're doing is to impress. And you know something? When you want to impress people, there is a way your conversation will go. Do you understand? You want to impress people, there's a way your conversation will go. When you want to impress people, that's when your English changes to, yeah, how are you? Are you okay? Is everything fine? But on a normal day, you don't care. When they even mention the girl name, you say, that girl, forget her. But when she passes, you say, oh, how are you? Are you good? Are you okay? You can even call her 20 times in a day. What are you trying to do? Convince and to impress. Why do companies spend billions and millions of Ghana cedis to do adverts? To impress and to convince you. Do you understand? At every point in our conversations with people, so the first thing we're trying to achieve, intentionally or unintentionally, we need to know, are we trying to inform these people? And the next one, are we trying to impress them and convince them? Or the third one, are we trying to entertain them? So I'm sure most of us watch a lot of skits. We watch a lot of these short videos on our phones, on Instagram. I think we have one of the best guys who makes skits in Ghana. We meet him. You know, his skits are very wonderful. I ask you, what do you want? Say, pan. You get it? At that conversation is, you know, you get it. When you see it, oh, you're excited. Oh, you understand. But every time, as a salesperson, do you just want to entertain your customers and leave them without making sales? No. If you're a comedian, fine. You know that the more you're good at entertaining your customers, then the more you're making money. So please, how many of us want to be comedians here? I think a lot of comedians are now making money. So please, you should try and start reviewing your, if you're not yet. Very, like, let's think on that line. You can become a comedian. Go home, you can start rehearsing. You see, people will laugh. People laugh because of two things. When the joke is dry and when the joke is funny, people will laugh. So it's either you're a dry comedian or you're a funny comedian. The most important thing is you're making the money. You understand? Awesome. So that's by the way. And then the next thing, and this is very important to us as salespeople, or entrepreneurs and people who want to make money, to persuade. To persuade. Do you understand? As a salesman, you need to persuade people to do business with you. So, you hear your counterpart says that, oh, he delivers quality in 72 hours. It's like, okay. I deliver quality in 7 hours. when you hear that kind of thing, so you are in the United States and your wedding is holding in Ghana, and because of work and certain things, you just didn't have the time to go for your measurements, and then you hear that, oh, there are good ladies in Ghana, you get good fashion designers in Ghana, and then you say, oh, how much and how long is it going to take you to get my dress? Ikia says, Yami Bayer, 4 days. You understand? And then somebody says, I'll be able to deliver your dress in the next 24 hours. All you need to do is just to give me your measurement and choose the kind of fabric you want, and I'll deliver in 24 hours. Who will you do business with? You don't need. And you know the funny thing? The one of 24 hours might disappoint you. And at the end of the day, it will turn to 72 hours. And then you'll be like, I should have just gone for the other lady who said 72 hours. But because the person was able to persuade you enough, do you understand, to do business with her, then you did it. But I'm not saying you should promise somebody 24 hours and disappoint you. You understand? So, now the big question is, how do I do this? This is where a lot of us get stuck. How do we persuade people? How? So let's make it practical. How do you persuade people to buy from you? Tell us.
I think you may want to show some evidence of probably what you've done in the past, or refer them to somebody who you might have dealt with before.
Okay.
A form of like a referral.
Okay.
So it leads to point two.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other person? Any other person? How do we persuade also?
Sometimes I try to
Profile.
profile the person. And then profile the person and kind of ascertain what I think the person will like. And then let's say I have this pen and then this person will start something like, oh, do you know this pen actually has this stuff? Something nice. So I try to find something in the product that I feel like the person can connect with.
You feel like the person can connect with. I love that. So let's stick with that in mind. Let us not forget that in mind. We're going to get to that particular point. So there is something I love about Aristotle. He spoke about persuasion, and he pointed out key factors in persuasion. And so we're going to be looking at the factors he spoke about. Now, these are 3 keys to effective sales. If you must make effective sales, if you must communicate effectively, if you must bamboozle people's mind when you're speaking, there are 3 key things you need to understand. And that is the ethos, the logos, and the pathos of communication. Sounding like a pastor now. Can somebody say amen?
Amen.
My God. So ethos is gotten from the Greek word. Hello? Good. I think I need to open a church. Who's going to be my accountant? You get it? Now, Aristotle says that for you to effectively persuade people, you need to pay attention to these 3 key things. And the first one is ethos. Ethos. That is where the word ethics is derived from. And ethics deals with character. Character. When you come out to speak to people, which, from what point do you speak from? Because a lot of times people are judging the character. People are judging the credibility of this person who is talking. That's why when you see so and so event, the first thing you do when you see the names of the speaker, the first thing you do is you go and Google about the person. What are you trying to ascertain? You're trying to ascertain the character, the credibility of the person. So when you're going to sell your product, what is your credibility of your brand? You say you deliver in 24 hours. Is it true? Judge yourself. Do you understand? You say when people drink your water, they drink life. Huh? Do you get it? What is the character? What is the credibility of the speaker? And then the next thing, let me just touch up on the pathos of communication before I move to the next one, which is tools of effective communication. You see, in marketing, in sales and in marketing, there is something that we need to understand. In every human is something called the mimicking neuron. We're going so technical now, right? In every human, there is something called the mimicking neuron. What does it do? So when somebody comes to you and say, hey bro, what's up, man? How are you going to respond? You're not going to be so cool like that. Like, hey bro, what's up now? How far? Like, you're tempted to respond based on the pitch in like manner. Now, in neuropsychology, we call it mirroring and matching. You get it? Why? Because the mimicking neuron in your brain automatically kicks in to respond in like manner. You know why? People like people who are like themselves. You get it? And people easily connect with people who are like themselves. You get it? So there's this person who likes to laugh and everything. If you come to the person all struck, the person is not going to answer you. But when you understand that this person likes to smile a lot, you just smile, meet the person. Hey, how are you? Oh my God. You get it? You see, you know, sometimes I don't believe in theories. I believe in practical things. These are things that we see every day. My God, buy this dress. Like, this dress is really, like, wow, this dress really looks good on you. Really? You get it? That's the response you get. But if you, oh, this dress looks good on you. You understand it? And you see, you need to understand that people are different individuals. And the way we communicate, we can't communicate alike. And that's why when you see somebody who is naturally cool and somebody who is gentle, you don't go, oh, hey. No. Say, hi, you get it? Especially when you're dealing with big men. You know, big men are the people who can say a million things, you won't hear something. Oh, yeah, good one. You get it? And before you know, you're signing a contract, you don't know what is there. Because people would like people who are like themselves. And don't forget that the know, like, and trust factor is very key in business. You understand? And when people know, like, and trust you, and people feel like you are them, repeat business every time. Even if they are in Kumasi, they will call you in Accra to supply to them in Kumasi. There are people like that. Me, I like Wache, but there's a particular Wache seller. Even if she's not open, forget it. I can't remember the last time I ate Wache. Because I don't know, it seems she has gone to give birth. I don't know who sent her. You understand? But because anytime I go to her shop, me, I like looking for trouble. My friends know me, I like trouble. I'll go there and tell she, give me Wache 2 cedis. She'll give me. I say, madam, how can you give me this thing for 2 cedis? She say, hey, are you the one that sold the rice for me? I say, yes, I'm the one that sold the rice. She say, hey, in this Donado government, I say, yes, things are better. She say, hey, you Nigerian man, go away. I bring it, say you should put, oh, take. You get it? Once you connect like that, I'm able to get into swap in the Wache. And I go back satisfied. And you see, because of that thing, since she's not been open, it's been hard. It's been hard for me to go. So, and you know the funny thing, in front of my house, there are about 3 different Wache sellers. These people open every day, but because my customer is not around, because somebody who I feel understands me, who I feel we have that connection, I've not been working in a long time. Just look at your life, look at the people, look at the circle of people around you. There are certain people, when they ask you, how did you guys become friends? You can't even tell. We just connected. Like I just met her today and we connected. Oh, why you didn't connected anything? You get it? You guys, you share like passion. The way she was speaking, you were responding, and the neurons were flying. You get it? Though you were not seeing the neurons flying, but connection, rapport, and all those things, emotional connection was built. Why do you think a man would see a lady and after they spend time together, say, oh, marry me? come on, man. You get it? It's because they are ready. She understands me. Oh, I understand him. I can deal with him. You get it? It's the same thing. Remember when we started, I likened business to a relationship. You understand? See, if you can sustain a relationship, apply the same principles you use in sustaining a relationship to also sustain your business. Bro, when you see a lady you like, you're going to do anything to make sure you get that lady. If it means giving her time, you give her time. Do you understand? If it means taking her to Starbucks, you take her to Starbucks. You understand? What are you doing? Just making sure you get the attention. Just making sure that you build that emotional connection with that person. Do you understand? So that's it about the ethos, the logos, and the pathos. I love saying those words because I don't know. Sometimes God may call me to be a pastor. You know? You get it? So that's it about the ethos, the logos, and the pathos of communication. Don't forget, people like people who are like themselves. Don't forget, when people develop the know, like, and trust factor with you, they will do repeat business with you. And now we move over to the next one, which is the tools of effective communication. Tools of effective communication. The tools of effective communication. At every point in life, we are always saying something. Social media is saying something. Your pastor is saying something. Your boyfriend is saying something. Your wife is saying something. But which of them is getting your attention? The tools of effective communications. Now, there are 4 tools of effective communication. People would say different things and everything, but personally I've decided to narrow the tools of effective communication based on physiology. Based on physiology. Do you get it? So people, when you go to some place, they say tools of effective communication. Somebody can tell you microphone and speaker. You understand? But those are only mediums. You get it? Those are only gadgets for communication. But the major tools for effective communication is your face, your eyes, your voice, and your body. Your face, your eyes, your voice, and your body. These are the major tools for effective communication. As a salesman, you need to get these things on point. You know, I'm sorry to say this to all my beautiful ladies. Sometimes you spend time putting all the makeup, and all the mascara, and you lay the foundation. After the foundation, you put a friend is saying powder, the pressed powder. Which one is that one? When you spray it, it will stay. You spray? There's one thing. What's that? Yeah. Funnily enough, your face is only 8.7% of the communication. Now you think that people are looking at your face because you are looking at their face. Do you understand? But the whole meaning that you're going to get from that looking at the person's face is only 8.7% of that communication. And when you're looking at people's face, it's not necessarily the face. There is something else in the face that you're looking at. We'll get there. You understand? Israelites didn't get to Israel in one day. It took them how many years? 40 years. Scholar, Bible scholar. Am I right? Good. I'm still a Bible student. It took them 40 years. So relax, we'll get there. Your face is 8.7. Then your eyes is 17%. But it's funny how in Africa, when we're growing up, if our parents were talking and we were looking at their face, they would slap us. So I'm talking to you and you are looking at me in the eyes. You are not afraid, right? You are not afraid. You are disrespect. This man is a Ghanaian. You see, they'll say it's disrespect, but no. You see, when you maintain eye contact with somebody, it speaks confidence. But now let me tell you, there is a thin line between maintaining eye contact and staring. Don't get it twisted. There is a very thin line And when you begin to stare at people, you turn them off like, man, this is creepy. How are you? Are you good? Yeah, so I'm selling from this is, you blink, and the person is still not blinking and is still looking at you. You're like, yeah, hello. You understand? That's the next thing you do. So, in as much as maintaining eye contact speaks confidence, it gets to a level, it becomes creepy. So in NLP, we say maintain eye contact but don't stare. You said? It's possible. Very possible. It's not all the times I've been looking at you like this. Sometimes I just let my eyes go over your head, go here like that, like that. You understand? But these are skills that we ought to learn. Remember, I said it is the subtle art. Very subtle. Subtle art of effective communication. Sometimes we think we are doing it right. But because it's very subtle, we cross that thin line. And then we think, yeah, I'm a confident man. And then you go back and boss, man. Then when I give them pressure. Then when I was looking at the boss. But no, at the end of the day, when you leave the meeting hall, they'll ask themselves, is that guy okay? Why was he staring? You get it? Subtle act of effective communication. Look, don't stare. Ladies, you know it. I'm using ladies because guys, you don't like guys who stare. Like, man, why is this guy staring? See, this is that, bro. Let me tell you what the ladies do. So there's a guy looking at them. Forget ladies, they know. And this guy is looking at them. You get it? All of a sudden, she'll be like, and the guy still has his face there. You still have your face there. Hello, come on. Why are you staring at me now? You get it? Please do not stare. It is rude. Very rude. It turns people off. It doesn't attract people to you. And then the next one is your voice. We're going to do a practical on this voice. I saw Perry when I said your voice, very clear. So that's one thing about big men. Big men, when they want to talk, they clear their throat. You get it? Because they know the voice is very important. Good morning. You get, so the voice is very important. See, there is a way you speak and people perceive you as timid. Even if you have the right thing to say. It's good to have a tiny voice. Do you understand? But, is there a word like this? In the tininess of your voice, let your voice command presence. Do you get it? Don't let your voice sell you off as inconfident. You get it? Your voice ought to command presence. And that's why when your pastor says, praise the Lord, everybody is able to. Sometimes listen to what they are saying. They are not saying anything, but because they are saying, shall you think? No. Let your voice command presence. I know that people were born with naturally tiny voice. But you can work on your voice. If you don't know how to work on your voice, come and pay me money. I will teach you how to work on your voice. I can't see me. I have tiny voice. And I have loud things. Yeah, I talk to you. And then you understand? You need to know that your voice commands presence. And that's why sometimes you tell people something, go and do this. Look at children. Why do you think children are scared of their fathers more than their mothers? Oh, Junior, stop it. Stop it. Junior, see? Stop it. Junior, stop it. Before you are done, Junior is out of there. It's not because of anything, but because of the voice. You understand? So when you're speaking to people about your product, hello, if your voice is not commanding that presence, if your voice is not convincing enough, they will not be interested. Do you understand? Are we there? Yes, so we are going to do a practical now. Are we ready? We're going to do a practical now. We are all going to introduce ourselves one more time. But this time, we have spoken about the voice. We have spoken about eye contact. We have spoken about face. I need us now to be practical because we cannot just come here and, get a lot of information without practicing it. It kills us in Africa. We are writing. Some people have written. Some of the notes people have written is more than the notes me myself I prepared. You understand? So we're going to practicalize this thing. Let us practicalize this thing. So once again, my name is Godson Ike. I'm a human capital development professional. I'm a neurocognizance consonant certified practitioner. Yes, that's plenty of words. Hello. You understand? So in Ghana, they say you start from your right. And
Well, I don't know. I have to be very careful the way I respond. Otherwise, it will drop on me.
he has dropped on you. I see it will drop on you. So good. Now, see, the truth is, we may not be plenty in this room, but I tell you, there's something I advise people. There's something called lateral communication. Sometimes you think that your next million Ghana cedis is going to come from one strange person at the top. But you don't know that your next million Ghana cedis will come from the people you're seated in the same room with. So I tell people, do not take any opportunity to introduce yourself for granted. You get it? I want to know what you do. I want to know what he does, because we are just one referral away from our next million Ghana cedis.